going to see what I can do to turn this enormous bag into clothing that I'll be proud of. Thanks for coming. Welcome. This is my sewing area. I started this project 12 months ago. I took my entire wardrobe out. Anything that had some kind of problem, I put aside. The project became an unfinished project. So I decided to get my sewing space in a much better place and take a look at this enormous pile of garments that aren't working. I did research on what happens in our landfills and I was absolutely shocked. There's a whole bunch of pieces of clothing that are given to op shops don't sell, and after a while the op shops just end up sending them overseas. They end up in landfills and creating a horrible environmental mess. So I just couldn't donate it to the op shop. There are remnants that could be made into refashioning or upcycling or thrift flipping. I'm doing something with every single piece. This is going to be a huge task, but let's do this. Hey, it's getting better and it's a lot better than it was. And that's the main thing. So I've made a start on tidying up. I can go over the vacuuming again later. Now the handheld did a good enough job. I've got a start and I kind of know what I'm gonna do with this area here. You may be wondering why I have a blow-up doll. It's actually a mannequin that I got from Amazon, so hopefully that's gonna work out. Smaller size than I am, but that's okay because I do a lot of practice modeling on smaller things so that I can get an idea of what the pattern is gonna look like. And you might be wondering what this thing here is. That's just part of my photography equipment to make these videos for you. You know, it's really hard to share a space with another person. You know what they say, it is what it is. This is our shared office and that's where my husband sits. You can see the ring light because at the moment I can't find the cord for another light that I have, which is over here. Right, which is over there. Oh, there's a light on the ground. I've got to pick that up and put it away. And my messy desk. But it's better. It's better. So for now, that will do. The easiest thing for me to do next is to just start tackling the clothing right here. And I'm going to deal with the scraps and the fabric a bit later. So we'll put this aside for now and we'll come back to that later on. So I want to take all this clothing and I'm going to try to group it into categories to see what I can do with this and how to make sense of it. And then I'll have a bit of a better idea of how to organize it and what to do. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. So that wasn't too bad of a beginning. I've got some different groups that I've put them into. This stack here, shirts that I could do something with. This one here, pants. These ones here are shorts. Most of them I can't fit and some of them I can, but the fabric's not so good. This one here, leggings and track pants. Over here, I've got accessories and things that could be turned into something else. These are all projects that I've started and haven't finished. If I take some photos, then I'll have an overview of what they are and where I'm going to go from there. After laying all this out, I realized that I have a shocking 38 projects to thrift, flip, upcycle, and I've got a lot to do. So that's going to be a lot of work. However, I think about it this way. It's going to let my creative juices flow. And I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of really nice projects. The other thing is I'm not alone because I actually have a good library of sewing books here that I can consult. I've got tons of things that I could just pull out, like this one is so good, or I know I'm gonna go to this one for embellishments and fun things like that. Oh, there's some great ones in here. I like this one. Honestly, I've got lots to draw from and they're fun, and I really wanted to do these projects anyway, so this is the opportunity. And not only that, I've got some other sources too, because I often read blogs and I get lots of ideas there. As well, I like to tune into certain YouTube sites, and I started looking at different sources of ideas, and I'd really like to do my own version of their pattern, and I'll fill you in on those. But I've got a lot of work to do on these upcycling projects, so I'm going to be refashionista, aren't I? But that's a good thing. I also decided to add a mending and an alteration category. I can just see that if these clothes don't fit, I'm pretty much going to have to do that. And then oftentimes they just need to have a repair. So I'm going to do that as well. If you like what you're seeing so far, then please hit the like button, because it really helps and it allows me to share this around to other people who would get some value from this information and these projects too. So thanks for doing that. It occurs to me that part of the reason that I didn't do anything with this project for a year is because all these pieces just kept ending up in the closet, and when they're in the closet you can't see them, so you don't do them. And I wish I had the space to get one of those clothing racks that are really great, but I don't. What I do have is an extra wardrobe, you know, the kind that stands up and you put your hats and coats on it. I'm just gonna stack it up with clothes on clothes hangers, and it's gonna go there, and then I won't forget about it. So I'm gonna do that next. As I was doing all of this work, I found some interesting pieces that came out of this. This is a green dress that I had. The last time I ever wore it was in Singapore when my husband and I were there, and it was so nice and beautiful on me. It goes right down to the ground. It's really stylish, and it was pretty brand new. We went into a mall that had a really old escalator. It was so old that the teeth of the escalator grabbed onto the dress. I ended up getting stuck in an escalator because the dress went underneath the teeth. They got this maintenance guy, and I said, please don't hurt this dress. This dress is worth a lot of money. But to get me out of there, he cut the bottom of the dress open. Well, what else was I gonna do? I couldn't be there all night long, and I felt like a bit of a spectacle, but not to worry, because I have a plan to fix it up. The other story about this is that in anticipation of this project, and knowing that I wanted to do a lot of refashioning, I put it out to a couple of groups that follow me. One is my community tab on YouTube, and another is a Facebook business group that's really supportive to me. And I just put it out as a poll and said, I've got all these refashioning items, here's a bunch of them, which one would you like me to do first? To be honest, the Facebook business group gave me the most response, and they were all voting. Then I got, can you believe it, just one vote on YouTube. But thank you to that person. The rest of you, don't be so shy. So, but I did get my votes, and as it turned out, the green dress won. And even my business mentor came up to me and she said, are you doing your refashioning? Are you gonna do the green dress? So I have a feeling she was one of the people that voted this way. So that one's gonna be an upcoming recycling project that I'm gonna do for this channel. This one was gifted to me by a nice organization that's run by a fellow named Alex Smale, and it's all about selling online, and I've been starting to work with them, and they're really a wonderful organization named Swick. So they gifted me this shirt, and I put in my order for it, and I thought it was be really big, but this shirt, thank you God, this shirt is way too big for me. So I'm going to do an upcoming video on what to do when you get a shirt that's just too big, and also to make it just look a little bit more stylish. So that's going to be an upcoming video. I've got this unfinished project. So it started out that I was in my design school and they had us do a simple pair of pajama pants. And I didn't just need pajama pants, I needed pajamas, because right now in Canberra it can get really cold. So any of my American or Canadian friends out there, I always hear people say, oh, you're in sunny Australia, it's so warm there. Well, let me tell you, there are places in Australia that are not warm. I'm in an area where we do skiing. In wintertime, Canberra is one of the coldest places in Australia. But I made this nice pair of pajama pants at Canberra Institute of Technology, where I take my fashion design, and they're kind of a palazzo pant style. I really love them. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a pajama shirt with it? I decided to do a really simple pajama shirt. Really simple. I purposely bought more flannelette material than I needed so that I could do this. And it's an unfinished project that I'm working on from this book, The Act of Sewing. This is Sonia Phillips' book, and the nice thing about it is that it's really good for beginners, and it's also really good for women who are plus size. And that is coming out in a new video for you. And what I want to show you is that if you're afraid of doing a practice pattern before you sew and you say, oh, it's such a waste of time and fabric and all that, well, there's no reason that you cannot do one that is in material for something like loungewear or pajamas. Why not do it that way? So that's what I've decided to do for myself, and then I'm going to make the real shirt. So that was another interesting find. Oh, and I have a similar item too. This is an old blanket. So when you do practice patterns, you can use a lot of things. And so this is jersey, and it actually was an old bed case. And I would wear it outside, but my husband said that the fabric looks like a bed case, so you tell me. Anyway, this is my practice pattern, and this one I designed myself, so I'll be putting that out as a do-it-yourself project you can do. So there's some good ones. Now that I've got this coat rack that I'm borrowing, I can look around and I can say, what's next? And I've got a whole pile of outfits to go. So I'm going to set myself a timeline for doing them, but I can see them, and they're not going in the closet, they're getting sewn and they're getting fixed, and that will really help me. I've decided that I would still like to do the box of material and scraps, but it's going to be a bit of a bigger project than I thought. I think this is going to go into a part 2 for doing that. So I will do a part 2 next week on my box of fabric and scraps. I'll be able to show you how I've cleaned it up, and I think I'm going to put it into my cube storage and redesign that, and then I'll have a great way of organizing my fabrics, and much better than I had. So I've really learned a lot today, and I think that some things that I've learned is that if you allow these garments to just keep storing, gathering dust and ending up in your closet, you're just never going to do anything with them. And the thing is that you're depriving yourself of something, which is your own creativity, and that it's really fun to refashion. I learned that I feel absolutely satisfied that I have cleaned up this sewing area, and I just feel like now I'm more excited about working here, and I feel more creative. I've always been a person who hated organization, but I think when you use it, it kind of allows you to open yourself up to doing the things that you want to do and having a creative space to do them in. So I think that's about everything that I could say for now. I thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful week. And come back next week, because you'll see what I do with the scraps and the remnants, and a good system that I'll come up with for using that. And also, I just can hardly wait to get into my thrift flipping, recycling, upcycling projects for you. I've got a lot in mind, and at least now I will have a plan. I hope that you enjoyed today. Please comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And remember, don't let fitting room friends get you down when you can sew it better.